Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about RhinoShield. We've got the RhinoShield CrashGuard and Mod NX, so let's talk about it. So the RhinoShield case, this is a case that I want to love, but there's a few problems with it. I've been using this case for about 2 weeks now. I want to make sure that I give every case a good, thorough use and test so that I can really kind of tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. Hopefully that'll help you, make your purchase decision. Now I will say this, I can definitely recommend the RhinoShield case to just about anyone. But there's a few things that you should know that might help you make decisions on how you want to customize your case, or what type of case, if you want to order the case. So let's kind of go through each of those areas. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the website. Let's take a look. So if you pull up the product menu here, what you can see is there's kind of three primary types of cases you can get. There's the CrashGuard NX, which is just the bumper itself. That's what I originally ordered, and so I'll kind of show you what the phone looks like in the bumper. There's the solid suit, and this is just a full regular case where it has a back to it, it's got the sides to it, and then there's the Mod NX, and that's essentially the Mod NX and the CrashGuard NX are very similar. The Mod NX just has a modular back plate that you can customize. So there's different designs you can order, and you can kind of make the case your own. So if you notice, the case I have right now, I'm going with this this camo kind of background. So if I actually click on Mod NX, and then I scroll down, here it is. So if you notice, so I chose this back plate here, so I'll pull it down. It's the RhinoShield NX iPhone, let's see here, what's it called? The M90 Splinter Camo back plate. So kind of a cool camo pattern, but not a traditional camo, and so it just kind of has a neat look to it. So that's what I decided to go with to customize the back of the phone. So if you notice, there were there's a ton of different options here for you to choose from, and you can really make your phone your own. And not only can you customize the back of your phone, but you can also customize the buttons and then the rim of the phone. So the rim meaning the bumper. So if you notice, they've got, I think, 6 or 7 different colors, pink, white. I've got the black bumper, and then you can also customize the rim too. So if I pull up just the CrashGuard NX, that'll give you a good idea here of the actual different rim colors and offerings and the buttons that they have to go along with it. So right now the phone is in essentially a Rhino case with the camo backplate, and I have clear buttons. But if you also notice, I have the original rim that came with the bumper. So let me kind of show you how that works. And this really gets to, well, let me talk about it in this configuration first. So I love the case like this. It's actually pretty slim as a case. Definitely not as slim as the Kadabi sheath, which I talked about in the last video. It's definitely a little bit thicker, but it's still pretty slim. It doesn't feel too bulky in your hand. This has, when you talk about protection, this protects. This has been drop tested, hundreds of times from extreme heights, and the phone has come through fine. So you don't have to worry whatsoever on your phone being protected in a case like this. So in terms of protection, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. The thing that I don't like about this is really this backplate. This backplate picks up fingerprints like nothing else, and it's really hard to keep clean. So I use you can use a towel to clean the back of your phone, but it's really hard to get them all off of there. And so if you want a case that helps hide some of the fingerprints in the back, this is not that case. Now I don't know, they may have some back plates that are of a different material, maybe don't show fingerprints as well, but this backplate in particular just picks up fingerprints constantly and gets super dirty all the time. So that's the first thing. The other thing just to know is the plastic or the material that the bumper case is made out of is very slick. So it's very slippery, there's nothing to hold on to. Now your case is fine if you drop it, so it's not that big of a deal. And I actually haven't dropped this case at all. So as much as I'm complaining right now about it being slick, it's really not a problem. But just so you know, it's the most slick case that I've used. So it's very slippery kind of on the corners. The buttons, so I'm going to show you in a second, the buttons do come out and you can replace the buttons. So you can kind of change the color. But because of that, because they're not integrated in the case and they're actually separate pieces of plastic, they are super clicky. Let's see if you can hear that. So I mean, the buttons are super clicky. I love the buttons. They're almost so clicky that I get a lot of false clicks on these because the buttons stick out a little bit from the case. So like if I'm grabbing it out of my pocket, a lot of times I'll accidentally click on the button as I'm doing that, but that's okay. The mute rocker, plenty of space here. It's a little tight, but plenty of space to manipulate the mute rocker there. You've got cutouts for the bottom for your power port, for the speaker grills. That all works just fine. So overall, great case. So the only complaints here are very slippery grip. And really for me, the back plate just, that's the number one reason I don't use this as my daily case, is because the back plate just gets so dirty and it's really hard to keep that clean. Otherwise, great case. Now, when it comes to fit, let's talk about fit a little bit. All right, how well does this fit on the phone? Is it falling off? You know, what's it doing? You know, you can kind of pinch and kind of move the sides, but this case fits extremely tight on this phone. You do not have to worry about fit being a problem. 10 out of 10 there. The case fits extremely tight on the phone, and that is not an issue. So much so, it's kind of a problem that it almost fits too tightly. So let me show you. I'm going to try to get the case off the phone. So if you go up to the corner, you really got to push really hard to get this thing off. Oops, hit Siri there. Get the other corner here. Alright, so now phone's out of the case. Let me kind of show you a little bit about this. So the back plate just kind of snaps out. So you got a separate back plate here. If you notice, I mentioned the buttons come out. So if I take out the main power button, you just kind of push it out. It comes out super easy. You know, that's kind of what the button looks like on its own. And then this is kind of the bumper that's left over. Now, I've got a bunch of different buttons here, so I can put in a yellow or red, or it came with black buttons, so I can kind of change out the different buttons. You can use this without the back plate. So if you're going to use it in a bumper style, you need a frame, and this frame serves to kind of lock the phone in place. And so what I'm going to do is you just kind of put the frame inside. Just kind of moving it inside there. There's a little ledge for it to grab on inside the bumper case, and it'll kind of snap in place. And so then you slide the case in, and now you kind of make sure everything snaps in place, and now you have a bumper case. And I really like this. So if you want a super thin in your hand feeling case, then I most definitely recommend the bumper case, because obviously the back of the iPhone is showing through, so you really just have the bumper around it that's adding a little bit of weight and width to the phone. Otherwise, it feels like you're literally holding an iPhone without a case on it. However, that is less protection. So obviously the back is exposed. These things, it's like $500 to replace that if you break it. So if you're going to do this, then I definitely recommend you get the RhinoShield Impact Protection screen, and you can get those for both the front and the back of your phone. That way you're protected even in the bumper case. So removing the bumper case is a little bit easier. All you need to do is pull out the frame. Still not the easiest thing in the world, but just kind of gotta grab onto it. So pull out the frame, and then the phone just slides right out the back. So a lot easier to get off from that perspective. So you know, the frame is nice and flexible. It's got an interior honeycomb pattern that serves to provide some drop protection. And yeah, like the case. It's a great case. I really like this case. So let's go back over this here. So from a protection standpoint, 10 out of 10. From a fit standpoint, you know, I actually wanted to lower that down to maybe 8 out of 10 because it almost fits a little too tight. It's hard to get off and on. You know, from a style standpoint, I mean, can't get any better than being able to essentially customize your phone to make it look however you want it to look. You know, so I'm going to put you know, 10 out of 10 on the style there. And then the last category is toughness. How tough is this case? I would say it's super tough. You know, I've taken this case on and off several times. I've put this little frame, which I think is probably the weakest point, in and out several times. And there's nothing's happened. It hasn't broken, the fits, you know, worked perfectly. So this doesn't, you know, other than being, you know, getting marked up and needing to be cleaned, you know, this hasn't really scratched up too much for me. So, you know, in terms of toughness, great tough case. This is one of my top 3 tough cases, and I'm actually going to do a video coming up where I talk about 3 different cases, the best tough cases for your iPhone XS Max. So be watching for that one to come out soon. One last thing, just kind of take a look at. I'm going to put the backplate back in, but let's compare this to the Kadabi sheath, you know, because I think it's pretty similar in terms of its thickness, but I've got my computer up here so I can kind of see what I'm doing. If I put these two things side by side, I mean, it's pretty close. You can tell a difference, but it's, you know, pretty close. The sheath is definitely thinner. And that's one of the things I look for is, you know, the goal of my case, whenever I'm using a case, my goal is essentially to find something that provides enough protection, but at the same time gets me as close to being caseless as possible. So, so yeah, that's about it. I can definitely recommend the RhinoShield Mod NX, you know, either the CrashGuard or the NX case with a backplate in it. So if you're interested, you know, go to their website, find out more, and I hope you enjoy the case if you order it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Nolan.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You gotta come over here. We got some people that wanted to say hi. Look at the camera.
Boo Boo Chicken.
Boo Boo Chicken. What?